But MB dropped 50 in 27 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Maybe he can come play for us. We need some help.
It's not all about the Lakers, Key.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, it is all about the Lakers right now because they probably are the most disappointing team in all of professional sports, Jay. So it's about the Lakers right now.
By the way,
I kind of feel like that's between him and the Cowboys, isn't it?
Before we move on, I just got to mention Jokic. I was like, no, he'll never win it. Yeah, he shouldn't have won. Not only did he deserve it last year when all was said and done, his PER is leading the league again, better than last year. He's averaging like 13 boards and 7.5 assists.
Got them in the mid-pack of the Western Conference.
By the way, Yates
without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter Jr.
Yates plays a sound effect.
That happened to a degree last year too, Jay. And what happened?
He dropped 49.
It's not postseason MVP.
Got scrambled in the
Postseason, it's
playoffs.
regular season MVP.
Evan, please get Yates in here.
He got scrambled in the playoffs.
They did, but it's not a postseason award.
Who got scrambled in the
And by the
playoffs?
way, Denver
Big
without
man.
two of their most
Scrambled.
gifted. Wait, time out. Denver without two of their most gifted scorers are still ranked 6th in the Western Conference, 2 spots ahead of the Lakers. So I get it.
Let's
just
get
calm
it,
down
Jay.
for a minute, you know?
Regular season awards is regular season awards. Postseason awards or championship
No
awards.
doubt. I don't even think there should be a regular season
That's what it is,
MVP.
though, Jay. That's what it is.
That's what it is,
I don't
man.
even think there should be a regular season MVP because if you're an MVP, you're going to the playoffs. More than half the teams go. And then let's see what happens. But Jokic did drop 49. But anyway, last night, 49. But anyway, that's a Sixers fan right there. Don't give a Sixers fan access to the soundboard on a night Embiid drops 50. So, all right, guys. But the story, really the news out of the NBA yesterday is that Frank Vogel's job security has been questioned recently because of the way the Lakers have had this season has played out so far, treading water, trying to keep their head above 500. He said he didn't feel like he was under siege. Lakers lost to the Pacers 111-104. The Pacers outscored the Lakers 35-24 in the fourth quarter. But here's the news, Key, Jay. Vogel benched Russell Westbrook for the final 3:52 of the game. So here is Frank Vogel, Lakers head coach, on his job security.
I don't feel like I'm under siege. It's not hard to do my job. I'm very focused on the task at hand. I've always been that way. And it's really not up to me whether it's fair or not. It comes with the territory. It comes with being the Lakers coach. We have high expectations. This fan base really cares. It's a big market. I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest with you.
So that's coach. You want to hear from the GM?
Sure, let me hear from Rob Pelinka.
Here's LeBron James at the post-game presser.
Well played.
I'm not in that business of pointing fingers or pointing blame or trying to put a quote at the end or at the start of someone's commentator of what they feel. Our coaching staff or Frank is or where Russ is or where I'm at or AD. If it's not positive for me, it's not my lane. I'm not a negative person. You got something to ask me besides trying to somebody I answer those.
I love it. I love it. That is exactly what he's supposed to say. You don't buy into things. You just try to get going and get winning, man. If you sit around and listen to people that just want clickbait, then you go fall into that trap. Clearly, the coach is on the hot seat. Things are swirling around the team because everybody expected, had a different expectation going into the season. So, the best thing for them to do is just try to figure out how to get going on the right track.
Meantime, Jay, I agree with Key here. I don't always think I'm just going to be positive is the answer. It depends on the situation. But here, you're asking about is...
He wasn't positive after they got blitzed by Denver. That's why he didn't talk to the media. Smart move on his behalf.
Well, okay, fine. But that's okay sometimes for me,
I'm
too.
okay with it.
I'm trying to keep my mind right. But if you're asking me about my coach's job security, I'm not going to deal with that. He's my coach. We're trying to win. That's all. I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah, but that whole asking him about job security is because it's LeBron James. You ain't asking the 11th guy on the bench about job security.
No, you're
so
not.
You automatically feel like LeBron James is running the team, so to speak. So you want to ask that question to try to get him in a pickle. That's the slick. All that is slick talk. And he's smart enough to know that ain't happening.
Well, it's slick talk, but the reality of it is that LeBron James wields a lot of power. I mean, there was a reason why, his coach in Cleveland got fired when he first got the job, when he first got over to Cleveland before they actually got Ty Lue, right, to win a championship. So there's reasons why these questions are being asked. And there's so many cooks in the damn kitchen. This is a personnel issue. I don't think this is a Frank Vogel issue. when they won a championship, they had one of the top-ranked defensive teams in the league, guys. They had personnel that fit the scheme that Frank Vogel wanted to play, Key. Now you insert a lot of older age pieces that don't have a defensively minded, sound, way of playing, and they play a different style of basketball. That's why they rank 27th in points allowed per game. It's not who they are.
Let's not underemphasize Anthony Davis's absence. Like, when he plays, it's a totally different situation. A lot of his value is on the defensive end.
Well, a lot of his value is being available, too.
No doubt. And that's always the knock against him.
And when he was playing, it wasn't like the defense was lights out.
Yeah, it's true.
I get that he is a defensive stopper, so to speak, in the paint. He makes the shots different. He can also slide out if need be at times, depending on who's guarding. But the defense was not lights out even when he was on the floor.
It comes down to this, guys. Like, this organization needs one voice. They really do. They need somebody who has autonomy to make the decisions. Because what happens is when you got Kirk Rambis, who is sitting in coaching meetings now. I mean, he's always been part of the organization, but virtually. You got Jenny Buss, who's trying to handle things over the top. You got Rich Paul, who's involved with clutch to a degree with LeBron James, making internal decisions, trying to help the team win. You got Rob Pelinka, who's in a position, what does he do going back and forth? You have a lot of people who are making personnel decisions, and it feels like this team is now stuck because I don't think they're going to have a lot of trade value going into the trade deadline.
There's so much there. And later on, we're going to have to get to the Westbrook benching. Does LeBron have to sign off on that? Because someone's like he does have a lot of influence. You talk about the island of misfit toys, the way this thing was put together. AD, it's not like they were locking down defensively with him, although he was the guy who challenged LeBron to play regular season defense when he got there originally, and they wound up winning the championship. There is so much there. Westbrook benched. We couldn't even get to it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.